Welcome back. And to shed more light on this topic, I'm so delighted to be accompanied over the phone by His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good evening, Your Excellency.
You?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm good, thank you so much. Well, Your Excellency, of course, we've seen that the rapid development that is Egypt is taking towards stability and security, not just in its borders, but also tackling this in the African Horn and all around the Arab world. This step, which Egypt welcomed today of the announcement of the ceasefire in Syria, and also calling for boosting more security in this domain, and of course, this whole political process that includes security and stability. How do you see that?
I see that the whole Arab world is not generally in good health, and Egypt is still, thank God, standing on a very solid feet, among with Arabia Saudi and Emirates and the Gulf states, plus Morocco and Algeria. So the Arab countries who are still in good shape are trying to help the others. Syria is not good at all. 4 foreign armies are occupying Syria by a way or another. Lebanon is attacked all the time by Israel, and it is divided because of Hezbollah, and it's making a state within the state. Libya on our western border is not at all secured. This is annoying us because we have a community of 2 million Egyptians still living in Syria. And among all, Sudan, which was a part of Egypt, now Sudan separated itself from Egypt. Then Sudan, who separated itself from Egypt, became 2 Sudans, North and South. And unfortunately, each of them is fighting themselves. The situation in our area is not good at all. Here comes the Egyptian diplomacy, which is doing a wonderful job in order to help all our brothers, wherever they are, in Syria and Lebanon, anywhere, in order to unite themselves and become abiding to one flag and one state, not dividing among Sunni, Shia, and this sort of division. So let us hope that this will take its time, and then we hope that the stability will be realized in our area, thanks to Egypt and other Arab countries are still in good situation.
Well, Your Excellency, of course, Egypt is doing, as you said, a great effort, not just protecting its border, but also protecting the whole Middle East and the Arab world, working parallel with its vision and with its agenda, which is also comes from sustainability and sustainable development, sustainable when it comes also to the region. So how do you see this also steady steps that His Excellency been taking, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, of course, and Dr. Badr Abdel Ati, doing lots of visits, delegations, negotiations, not, as you said, not just on the Syrian lands, but also in Lebanon, Sudan, to protect not just the African Horn of touring apart or tearing apart, but also this is the future, I guess, this unity is the key word.
As you well know, Egypt always practices very strong foreign affairs policies, but in the last 10, 15 years of President Mubarak, we lacked his efforts. We were depending on only ambassador level and ministerial level. We were not able to use the presidential level, which is, I call it, the diplomacy of airports. Now we have a very active president who is doing his best in order to cover the whole Arab world. Even in the whole world, he went in 40 days twice to Tokyo and once to Paris to cover our foreign affairs diplomacy. And of course, in the Arab world, he went everywhere in the Arab world. So the thing is that we need such a president who can get the confidence of all his brothers and colleagues in order, because we need a guarantor to whatever agreement which comes between Sudanese, between Libyans, or in Yemen. Really, it is a sad situation, and we want to come out of this. And thank God that still in Egypt we are in a very good shape.
Well, Your Excellency, of course, we have this new steps, which is opening 2026 with more steady and cemented steps as His Excellency, of course, Egypt is going to preside over the African Union Peace and Security Council on the 1st of February 2026. I think this is also not just a testimony that Egypt is working on steady steps, but also it's tackling, cementing, it's paving the way for more and more achievements in the African Horn.
Yes, in Africa, I can say proudly that Egypt is the most acceptable face in Africa. Since the pharaonic time, there are countries in Africa. I met one of the kings of Africa. He put in his pamphlet that he is coming from Egyptian origin. Many tribes in Cameroon, where I was ambassador some years ago, they say they are Egyptian, and they're still building their houses on a shape of pyramids. This is something I am proud of. And then, especially during the time of President Gamal Abdel Nasser, we were helping Africa for their independence from the colonialism. And so Africa is looking to Egypt with a very positive attitude. And we can use this, of course, in order to bring Africa to more and more unity. And this division, depending on parties and tribes, we have to stop it in the near future.
And of course, Your Excellency, that we have to hail always the negotiating team that, of course, working under the umbrella of the policy or the foreign policy. We need to hail its role and, of course, our vision, not just for 2030, but also for 2063.
Yes, exactly. And our president gave a hand to the African unity. When he presided the African Union some years ago, he proposed that Africa divided in 3 main free trade areas, and he invited the whole free trade areas to establish one united African free trade area of 1,200 million inhabitants. It's the largest in number in the whole world. And we succeeded to do that. We are still doing it. And one day, we always saying that we are marketing for Egypt, not because it is a market of 100 million inhabitants. No. Anyone who produces anything in Egypt, he will be able to export it to the Arab world, to Africa, to the European Union, where we have free trade areas with all these countries. This is good, very good also, that we have a market of 2,000 inhabitants. This is a point of sense concerning how we are marketing for Egypt and to attract foreign direct investment to Egypt.
Well, Your Excellency, always they say that a stable economy equals stable region, let's say. So this opening
Absolutely.
those no channels,
yes.
of course, opening lots
Yes.
of channels when it comes to investment and trade, working on going deep into the African Horn. Not just that, Egypt built the biggest healthcare in Gambia. That one of the initiatives that was done by Egypt, not just that only, but also the agreement with the African Bank to be the leaders, let's say, in the African Horn of when it comes to mining and when it comes to gold. So all it's going parallel, all the movements of the government.
Yes, exactly. And I think we are in a very good position. Nobody you can compare with the Egyptian position concerning our intervention to bring all these people to reason in order to bring them to stop war, either within the same country or between one country and the other. This we have to maintain. And I think we are doing a very good job. Hope that very soon it will result some very active stability in the whole region. Using our efforts, using our presentation there that everybody is looking to Egypt positively. So we have to continue this very difficult issue in order to bring Africa to peace, and it's not an easy task at all.
Of course, Your Excellency, it's not, but Egypt is also, Egypt is the heart of the African Horn and the Arab world, and its stability means the stability of its borders, the stability of other neighbors, countries when it comes to that, and also with the negotiating team. I think His Excellency also wants to not just raise the awareness of how unity can have its impacts, not just on the political levels, but also in the economic level.
Yes, we are giving a good example. Anyone who comes to Egypt, and we are hosting thousands of Africans studying in Egypt, whether in Al-Azhar al-Sharif or in our universities, and they are very good ambassadors later on when they go back to their countries. The Egyptian stability is a good invitation for those who are seeking peace and stability in their countries to see the Egyptian example, which is a very good example for anybody who is looking for good days within his own country. Here I am biased, especially to Sudan, because I am the generation who were saluting one flag, Egypt and Sudan. It was one country. I am biased also to Syria, because when I joined the Egyptian diplomacy, we were still in the United Arab Republic between Egypt and Syria. And I don't know, I cannot count how many times I lived in Damascus. Even later on, when we were negotiating with the European Union, the leaders of Syria asked me to go there. I spent a lot of time in Syria in order to exchange opinion and to exchange experience about the negotiation with Europe also. That is something we were looked at with all confidence. Whatever the thing we are advised, whatever the advice we give them, they take it immediately with all confidence.
Well, for sure, Your Excellency, Egypt has its own and great role. Well, Your Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, I would like to thank you so much. Former Assistant Foreign Minister, I would like to thank you so much for your informative call.